In this video, I'm going to show you how to save money on top of saving money when buying livestock feed. Another really great and important way to save money is to get bargains in places where you typically get bargains. And what I mean by that is I buy all my feed in bulk, where you're going to get a better price anyhow, but there's always deals to be had there as well. So it never hurts to ask the question whether or not you can get something at a reduced cost. I want to share with you the savings that I realized from a trip down to the mill here this week. I wanted to show you a little price comparison of the cheapest feed in town. I'm down at the local Tractor Supply, and I want to show you what they're charging here for their layer pellets, and I'll compare prices with what I got down at the mill. Yeah, the cost of this is $21.49 for both the layer pellet and the layer crumble. And this is the cheapest product that they have here. It's a non-organic product, 16% on both the pellet and the crumble. These bags over here are just 40-pound bags. I don't have a 50-pound to compare it against, but this is your standard organic egg layer crumble from Nature's Best, what you'll find in just about every Tractor Supply. $30.49. These barrels is how I store my bulk feed. Each of these barrels holds roughly 400 pounds. I typically buy my feed a ton at a time. It comes in these totes. These totes will hold 2,500 pounds, and then I bring it home and I transfer it into these barrels a bucket at a time. Typically it'll take me to do a ton around anywhere from a half hour to maybe 40 minutes. But it's a small price to pay so that I'm not wrestling with sacks every other week or every other month. This feed right here will last me, for these chickens, it'll last me well beyond a year. It's stored in olive barrels. Each of these barrels will hold around 400 pounds. When I buy my feed in this fashion, it's going to give me a significant price decrease in buying in bulk. And I typically buy an entire ton just for that reason. The other day when I called down and I was interested in seeing if he had any deals, he was able to cut me a pretty significant price reduction for the feed that I got. So I got two different orders totaling 1,800 pounds. The first order was a 16.5% layer feed that is comprised of sunflower, safflower, it's got peas in it, it's corn, barley, oats, millet, vitamins and minerals as well. That was an all organic layer feed, and typically that winds up getting pressed into pellets. However, he had somebody cancel on the order and he offered it up to me at a pretty significant discount. So I got 1,100 pounds of this mash for $300. It's an all organic product, and I typically don't worry too much about trying to ensure that I get organic for my animals because of the cost associated with it. It's through the roof, and it just, for me, it doesn't pencil out. However, if I can get organic product for cheaper than I can get it otherwise, all day long, I'm going to get the organic product. So I'm very fortunate to have come across this. And in this barrel here, I've got 400 pounds. I've got 400 pounds here. And this back barrel, I've got 300 pounds. I'll show you that in just a moment. But the cost breakdown associated with what I picked up in these three barrels comes to $12 per 50 pounds, all organic. Now, this is what the material looks like. It's just a mash of corn and sunflower and safflower and barley and oats and millet, and it derives its protein from mostly the peas that it's ground up in it. And it's got a lot of vitamins and minerals that's been infused into it as well. My chickens just seem to do really well on mash, so again, I'm very fortunate to have gotten it. I keep it stored in these barrels, and it just has a lid. Looks like that. And these barrels are pretty water and airtight. This screws down, and that'll keep that locked down. Now let me show you this other feed that I got, and I'm going to put a glove on because It's got a lot of molasses in it, and I don't want to get my hand all sticky. But this was something that I typically will ask if they have any sweepings at the mill, because what that is it's stuff that's spilled in the process of them making their feed. And a lot of times they can run that stuff back through, but a lot of times as well, they cannot. And so rather than this feed going to waste, you know, they will sell it to people if you can catch that kind of a deal. And I just happened to hit him at a good time when he had a bit of this set aside. And I asked him about it, and he said, yeah, I'll come over here and take a look at this. And when I went and looked at it, I asked him what he wanted for it, and he told me $100. So that's a deal that I just cannot pass up. Now, this is an organic blend. It's mostly organic, however, it does have soy in it as well. And soy typically is not organic. But I'll go ahead and open these up and show you. I've got 400 pounds in this one. I've got another 300 pounds in this one. Got these 700 pounds for $100. Do the math on that, and it comes out to be just a little over $7. I think it's 7.14 for 50 pounds of amazing feed. So I'll show you that here in a minute. And again, this is just merely asking the question. So you really need to keep your eyes peeled, and you need to be putting yourself in a position where you'll be able to capitalize on these sorts of deals. Another way that in which you'll be able to do that is to obtain some storage containers such as these. So it's just how I like to do my feed. I think it makes a tremendous amount of sense to buy it in bulk. And this is just my preference on how I like to feed my chickens. And then this stuff can be fed to other livestock as well. So this is that other mix. As you can see, it's pretty gooey. This is really good stuff. I was actually feeding this to one of my cows a couple of days ago, and she thought it was pretty amazing. But it's got all kinds of stuff in it. It's oats and barley and just everything that they make out of that mill. It smells so good. There's so much molasses in this. It's very very good quality feed. Chickens will do fine on this. Pigs will do fine on this. Cows will eat this. And there's absolutely nothing wrong with this right here. Oh, amazing. There's pelletized material in here as well. There's just everything that they work with in that mill winds up being in this sweepings. And this was something that they couldn't run back through, so they were selling it at a pretty right price. And I'm just really fortunate to have gotten it. Another thing that I will be using this for is to add this material directly to the compost piles that I'm trying to incentivize the hens to work. And they'll go in there and they'll peck and scratch at this stuff and extract what they want. What they don't will decompose and become compost. But this molasses will be an amazing food for all of the soil life. So again, just ask the question. Before I get to any of this material here, I first need to finish up what I have left over from last year. Let me show you that. This is what we have remaining from the ton of this that I bought last year. This is pig food, 16%, and it's been infused as well with vitamins and minerals, but it's a mixture of corn, barley, and soy. And last year I fed out 2 hogs, and we finished a heifer on it, which we've since processed. And the remaining 400 pounds I've been feeding to my chickens, and they like this quite well. They've been doing fantastic on it. We get great eggs. The chickens are in great health. For me, it's a really good feeling to know that this 1,800 pounds that I have here is going to see us through the foreseeable future with regard to feeding our animals. And we're not going to be so committed to the idea of paying attention to the next shortage or supply chain issue. Thanks for stopping by, and if this content has resonated with you, please consider subscribing. Thanks for watching.